Fullmetal Alchemist, the live action adaptation movie, has drawn some criticism from yours truly and Matt also, that we think it's kind of weird that they went ahead and cast all Japanese actors for characters which are obviously not Japanese. And apparently it looks like the director of the Fullmetal Alchemist anime doesn't have kind words for those choices either. The director's name is Seiji Mizoshima, and he was quoted by saying, he doesn't mince words here, "It was a bad idea to only use Japanese actors. If you asked me whether I think the cast could pull it off, I'd say that no, they can't. It's hard for actors to capture the look and feel of the original manga." So it kind of sounds to me like he may be saying maybe the idea of it being live action itself is a bad idea.
And I can understand where he's coming from, because when people think of Fullmetal Alchemist, you could probably find someone that would look like Ed, but it'll be very hard to find someone that looks like him naturally and also sounds like him, because when it comes to anime, people are attached to the voice actor and also, I guess, visually how they look. But more importantly, if the voice is wrong or if it's not the same, it just seems weird. So I can understand where he's coming from, that where he's saying it's hard to actors to capture the look and feel of the original manga. And it's like, yeah, I think that maybe even if it was done with maybe an all-white cast, I feel like they could have gotten people that would look very similar to like what I believe these characters would look like if they were to be real. Mm-hmm. But you'd never get them all to sound how they normally do. Yeah,
and you had that weird case in Dragon Ball Evolution. Yes, terrible movie. But Yamcha didn't look anything like Yamcha. He was much, much older. But he sounded like the English dub version of Yamcha. Like, to a T. He sounded like Christopher Sabat. It was really weird. But he didn't look like him. So it still didn't work.
Yeah.
So yeah, sometimes you can like get one or the other, but it's very hard for actors to look and sound. I mean, in actors, I think any actor can behave a certain way. Like if you're a decent actor, you can just, pick up on a character's, behavior and mimic it and be fine. But you kind of have to look the part and sound the part. And he also did say that he was rooting for the movie, and I kind of feel like anime live action adaptations are kind of falling in the same category as video game movies. Speaking of which, the trailer came out for the Tomb Raider reboot movie, and it looks terrible. It looks really bad. In the trailer, I think she does the whole thing that they did with Batman Begins, where she walks into a building that her family owns, and the guy's like, "Can I have your name, please?" And she's like, "Laura," and he's like, "First or last name?" And she's like, "Croft," and he looks at her like, "Oh," just like the whole "What's your name?" Bruce Wayne. And then you put that in the trailer. The trailer is supposed to have all the good parts of the movie. If those are the good parts, not a lot of hope on this one. But I do feel like anime movies are kind of falling into this same trap. I mean, we had Speed Racer years ago where they didn't do a good job with that. Of course, Dragon Ball Evolution.
Ghost in the Shell, I heard a lot of people didn't really like it.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people didn't like that. I didn't see it because I'm not a big Ghost in the Shell fan. But yeah, I think you need to honestly I think it's rare to find a director who understands anime and manga and also understands film. And I think we haven't got to the point where we can make the two be adapted one into the other. But I can tell you what would help if you cast people that actually look like the characters, because it's such a huge distraction.
People were complaining that Sergeant didn't, or Major didn't look. She wasn't an Asian woman, and then you get a movie that's based around, you know, if it was Earth, this Earth, it would be, you know, Germany or
European
Europe.
people.
Yeah, so it's
so distracting.
People just it's like, oh, but it was made in Japan. It was made by Japanese people. The people are white. They're actually white. The everything about that show is based off of Middle Europe. It's not a Japanese thing. They do have, you know, Xing, which is just...
Yeah.
Xing is literally just all of Asia.
Yeah.
It's just they combine, like, everything. It was just like, oh, yeah, it's like if China... If Asia just became China. That's what Xing is. It's like, yeah, okay, that'd be fine. If you had, you know, the prince and princess of Xing, I forget their names at the moment, you know, in the movie, it'd be fine casting them as Asian because they're Asian.
Yeah. Right.
Also, you know, a lot of the action scenes in anime, like some of those you can reenact those, or you can make things that are just as exciting to watch. But Fullmetal Alchemist, not just the action on its own isn't what makes it good. Like, there's some really funny parts in it, but just with like how they're able to do the animation in the show, they make it funny. Like whenever Ed gets like really angry, or whenever he's acting like a punk, he's got that weird, like, it almost looks like a Rayman character face that he gets.
Yeah.
It's like, you can't reenact that.
Right. That's the strength of anime. It can go from being like ultra serious drama to being hilariously funny.
Or when Alphonse is getting yelled at or feels like really awkward, instead of like being this brutal, powerful like suit of armor, I almost said power armor, he's like this really smoothed out, like gray image with like a W mouth with like a little hair thing coming out. And it's like, you can't do that.
No.
Or you can, it just look bad.
It just wouldn't work.
Yeah, it's difference between breaking, you know, an artistic wall in a drawing and breaking the artistic wall in a real life adaptation of something.
Yeah.
One is going to be okay because it's, you know, still being drawn and you can make it kind of look, you can make it work. The other, if you try and make that happen, looks bad.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
Yeah, this is probably not going to be the movie that breaks the mold and stops the cycle.
What does that say about the Cowboy Bebop show?
Well, I never had high hopes for that in the first place. I'm setting low expectations. I'm hoping to be pleasantly surprised, but not holding my breath.